Thanks for coming, everybody. This is a really long titled section, basically about contributing back to Drupal. So it's piggybacking a little bit on what Angie talked about a lot this morning. Talk about a little bit more reasons why and some other fun stuff. So a lot of you I recognize as already contributing to Drupal in a variety of different ways, and that's awesome. So hopefully there's a lot that you get out of this or contribute to this. Like I'd like this to be more of a pop, and we just kind of talk about a lot of different reasons why people don't, or why you don't, or what happens to keep people from contributing. So, or maybe you want to contribute and you're not yet, and you're not sure how to, or how to get past some hurdles, or a variety of different reasons. So we're going to talk about why, rehashing some of what Angie said this morning, talk about how, like, sort of survey all the different ways that you can contribute, and then a little bit on, like, what do you go through to contribute. My name is Ben. Been working with Drupal for 5 years, but I've only been contributing for about 4. So Angie, I think she said in her presentation that she has been involved in open source for like 10 years before she started contributing. It was a year after I had been working with Drupal that I realized why it was valuable and why I wanted to contribute something back. And I have the lucky position of getting to work with Drupal full time and getting some of my time as some of my contributions actually I get to do as I get paid for it, basically, which is really exciting. I work for Growing Venture Solutions. We do a lot of different things, site building and services consultancy stuff. We're focused on events and conference websites. And then we also do security review stuff, which is now under the name Drupal Scout. And then we got to work on a project called Certified to Rock, which is a automated tool for measuring the way that people can contribute and collaborate back with Drupal. And it's a form of an answer to certification for Drupal. So sort of an unofficial title of this talk is The Secrets to Certified to Rock. So let's start with why. Why should you contribute? So Angie said some stuff this morning that was really great. So she talked about how there's so many people who are downloading Drupal, very few of them are contributing back. So as a contributor, you are somebody who's, you have your finger sort of on what's happening with the project, but you're also shaping the project. And that's really valuable because as somebody who's shaping the project, it's matching more of your business goals, or maybe what you are, the sort of problem you're trying to solve or something. And when it does that, then you're learning faster, you're saving time and money by learning faster, and getting better clients and all that. And we'll touch a little bit more on that. So I want to tell this story, though, about somebody outside of Drupal. So there's a designer, Frank Chimero, who wanted to write a book. And he wanted to write a book about design. And so he thought, okay, I'll use this new service called Kickstarter. I'll say Kickstarter. And he's going to use Kickstarter. If you're not familiar with it, it's a way to get donations and get people to back your project, back your idea. So Frank's idea was, I want to write this book about design. It's going to be very forward-thinking about design. And I want to go about it, produce it on my own, and get it out there for the people that are excited about it. So Frank figured out, he decided he needed about $27,000 to make this book happen, to produce this book and get it out to people. He started a Kickstarter project and got a bunch of people interested. He tweeted about it. He ended up getting over $100,000 in something like 24 hours. And that was all just using like Twitter and social network and all of these sort of things. And he wasn't going traditional model sort of stuff. So I think this is really relevant because of the way that Frank had that happen. So he's talked about how it was really amazing that he got such passion around this idea that he had. So he said that the stuff in the book that he wanted to write was not necessarily new things for him to talk about. They were ideas that he'd been talking about on his blog for years. And so he was writing about these ideas on his blog for free, and people were, learning about him and learning about his ideas and coming and reading his blog and commenting and all that kind of stuff. And by writing about these ideas, he was able to build an audience for one, and also refine and just make these ideas better and get them perfected. So he said about that writing was important because it was a way to pilot his ideas and bulletproof them. And I think that's really relevant to the way that people do and do not collaborate and contribute to Drupal, because a lot of times people are scared about contributing. And if you just sort of get your idea out there to start, then you're getting your idea out there, you're getting early feedback, and ideally you're perfecting your idea and you're getting it moved along quicker and better. So there's another reason why you should contribute. So Brian asked anybody in the audience, who do you think about if if I need to make my Drupal site perform faster, like it's really slow or it's not performing very well, it's crashing or something like that, who comes to mind?
Chicks.
Catch? Yeah. Who else?
Chicks.
Chicks, yeah. Maybe David Strauss for performance and stuff too. So these people, they come to mind right away because they're sort of the experts in the field. These are the people who are, David Strauss working with PressFlow. Chicks, or Catch also doing like all their stuff on Drupal core and doing performance and stuff. So these people are working in these specific fields and they become known for that. And that's valuable because, if you have that problem, you're thinking, okay, we need to solve this problem. Our sites are slow. Who can we go to? Who's the experts? You think of these people. So it's word of mouth marketing. It's leading to better clients because it's sort of coming from the community already. I think that's really useful. So with Growing Venture Solutions, we've done some analysis of where our projects are coming from. So about 50% of our leads come from the community. So these are actually other competing shops sometimes, or they're people, freelancers or other people that we just work with in the community on contrib modules or a variety of things like that. So it's 50% of our work is just coming from other people that are recommending this work to us. I think that's incredible because oftentimes these clients are better researched, like they're more likely to pay on time, they're more likely to just be great clients to work with. So contributing is our marketing, ultimately. So we don't have a separate marketing budget exactly. We're coming to camps, we're working on modules, all these things are the ways that we market our skills and our services and make people excited about working with us and ultimately hiring us. So, Lindsay, if I can put you on the spot, we were talking a little bit about this earlier. Do you want to kind of put you on the spot and rehash kind of what you were saying about that?
Sure. So I guess I don't do any marketing at all, actually. My website really sucks. I have one blog post. Actually, that's how Rob Moore found me, and we're going to be working together soon. But that blog post is actually a really good example. It's like I just posted about how to do something, and that was really complex and painful, and I put it up there because I wanted to remember how to do it later. And I've actually had 3 different job leads come from me trying to tell other people how to do this thing. And it's just like what you're saying, is that when you put out, you show people, you contribute to people some piece of knowledge, and you get known for that piece of knowledge. And if I had a choice, it wouldn't have been iCal feeds, but that's what it is at the moment, views and iCal feeds. But I think the more that you share with other people, the more that they know you. I made these cool badges, and I'm getting all this feedback, and people are like, "You made the badges, how cool is that?" And suddenly everybody knows my name, and I've picked up like 4 clients today. And you got to give to get, and that's not necessarily why we give, but it certainly helps pay the mortgage. So I mean, is that kind of what you were? Yeah.
Does anybody have any other thoughts, like similar outcomes they've seen out of contributing, and how it's worked out for them?
I mean, once you start contributing, then people will keep coming back to you for more feedback or ideas, or simply you feel very part of things. So it doesn't take that long.
Yeah. And when we're kind of talk about a lot of the different ways you can contribute that, and one of them is content strategy, which is something that Lisa's very excited about and working out on Drupal.org. And as people are like, can you work on this more? This is a very tough problem, and of course, translating that to something that you're not working on in your free time is tough. But yeah. So another big one this morning that Angie talked about was like the intimidation factor. Like, it's intimidating to collaborate, to put your idea out there. So she had good reasons why it works for her, and like why it's a hurdle you have to get over. Yeah. I don't have further thoughts exactly about that, but if anybody has anything, like, do you have ideas that you want to share? But is it still intimidating to put those out there?
I think that people who haven't contributed in a formal way before, I mean, it's like you're putting yourself out there. You're opening yourself up to criticism. You're like showing how dumb you are, and it's really scary to do that. And a Drupal community is made up of human beings, and we're not always as nice to each other as we should be. So certainly you are opening yourself up to some risk by doing that. But on the other hand, this is a really great group of human beings, and I think you're going to get more positive and supportive feedback than negative, and say, I think you're going to get, I found this bug, and here's a solution, rather than, you're a dumbass, I can't believe you let this get released. We don't really get that. We really get a lot of people helping and wanting to make projects better, and so I think, what Ben is saying is that you've got to get it started, and even if it's full of bugs, put it out there and see what the community can build from it.
That's kind of what the sandboxes are for now, right? Getting something out quick that isn't necessarily formalized and maybe isn't ready for the real world and so forth.
And right, an idea space that you put it out there and other people can see it, and maybe help contribute to that, and you could pick up a co-maintainer or something and move forward with the project. Yeah.
So what Matthew was referencing, if you haven't heard of Sandbox projects, as Drupal.org moved to Git instead of CDS, we have a way to contribute to your module very simply. You don't get a lot of the other feature sets that modules have, but you do get your code out there where people can start to use it in a form, but also start to perfect it, or help you work towards perfecting it and making it something that everybody uses. We can come back to some more discussion about why. Let's start talking about kind of a lot of the different ways that you can. So we've mentioned a few code-related things, and in Drupal, oftentimes that's PHP because that's a lot of what the language is. So if people think about, I need to write or read PHP to be able to contribute back to Drupal, but that's definitely not true, because there's HTML that Drupal's outputting, or there's CSS. So if you know how to write or read, you understand making good markup, HTML5, those are things that you can contribute back. Maybe you don't know PHP or HTML or CSS, but you know how to speak really well or write really well and get clear thoughts written down. You can contribute back. Or maybe you know another language, then there's amazing ways to contribute there.
Well, if you have trouble installing modules, you might be a really good tester. So if you really have trouble with computers, you might be the one that really would be the one that can write something that helps the people that also have trouble installing things.
Yeah.
That's true. So there's kind of 4 categories for contributing back. There's making the products or product better, whether that's Drupal core, contrib modules, or themes. So that's making the solutions that people use to solve their problems better. There's making the tools that we all use to work together better, or the process that we go through working together and writing these products or building the modules or themes or solving these problems. And then there's just helping other people join the process and increasing this knowledge pool that we have. So then we start with tools and processes. So this is a great way. A lot of this stuff is on Drupal.org because it's our primary home for working together and solving one of these problems. Sort of a meta note here, if the Wi-Fi is working, there's a lot of URLs I'm going to give, and they're really short URLs. So it's the short domain jvns.me, and then it's 2 digits. So if you just want to write that down as something that catches your eye, you're like, oh, I can do that, or I want to help out there, you can just write that down and come back to it. Because what we're sort of going to do is go through all the different ways and talk about them a little bit, but not go into so much depth. So these are URLs you can just write down, and the slides are available if you want. So one of the first ways is writing user guides. So writing documentation, helping other people use the products. How do you install something? How do you configure something to solve a problem? Part of that is also organizing the content that is available. So Lisa, if I can put you on the spot to talk about content strategy and why. So content strategy, if I'll just paraphrase real quickly, is not about the documentation, but it's about all of the things that surround documentation, about solving.
Okay. Well, content strategy itself is kind of it's thinking about your site's content as a whole and process for managing it and adding to it and what to do when it's ready to retire. So, but for something like Drupal.org, things like most things don't